I'm Haley from Gallifrey Public Radio, a Doctor Who fandom podcast and part of the Gonna Geek Network, just like the show you're checking out now. Shows on the network are individually owned, and opinions expressed may not reflect others. Find other interesting geeky shows at GonnaGeekNetwork.com.
Stand by for a brand new episode of All Things Good and Nerdy.
Good morning, everyone, and welcome to episode 392, I think it is, of the All Things Good and Nerdy podcast, recorded live on Sunday, February 23rd, 2020. I'm Chris, and those who might be too young to know what that sound was for the pre-show, that's a cassette tape going into a tape deck.
I just don't like how harsh it is. Jesus.
I love it.
Willie, you don't like that one?
Harsh.
So you're saying I should not do the button again?
Well, if it was softer, yeah, if it was like a softer, if it came in softly, you know, I wanted it to caress me.
But it's not a soft sound.
Yeah,
I mean,
nothing about cassette decks were ever soft. Nothing about cassette tapes are
Why
soft.
don't you just shove in that fucking A-track?
Granted, as we record this on something that streams on the internet that is not recorded in any physical media, we should note that tapes are old technology and maybe our memories are wrong, because honestly, when's the last time you guys loaded a cassette and played it? Let's be honest here.
Let's see. I got rid of the Taurus about 2 years ago.
So when you had the tape adapter plugged in,
I had a tape.
Did you ever take it out? Oh.
No, I actually had tapes in my glove box.
I figured you had like a tape adapter you plugged into your phone.
I did have a tape adapter for my iPod, but I also had tapes in my glove box up till 2 years ago.
All right. The last tape, the cassette tape, I actually remember buying was for the Spider-Man movie soundtrack.
I didn't even know they made a cassette tape.
Like the Sam Raimi Spider-Man?
Yep, Sam Raimi, the first Sam Raimi
so
Spider-Man.
That's what, 2001, 2002 time frame. So we're talking almost 20 years ago.
Yeah.
So I'm at 2017 was the last time I put a tape in a tape deck.
So it was when I owned my Ford Taurus before it blew up. And that, well, not literally blew up, but
2 out of 3 were Ford Tauruses?
Yeah, the transmission was crappy in it, so I traded in right before the transmission failed and bought a new car. And that was in 2009, 2010 I traded in because I had a tape adapter that I plugged into my iPhone and I'd listen to my podcast in the car that way, just via tape adapter.
Here's a question for you.
And Dean Winchester running around listening to tapes in our old cars.
Here's a very good question. Oh, no, don't forget Star-Lord. Now, here's a question mostly for you, Chris, because the Bachman probably still does. When's the last time you used a CD player?
My new car actually has a CD player in it, so I put a CD in to make sure that it worked. And I don't think I've used it since then.
You know, I'm not even going to count that. When's the last time you actually used a CD to listen to music?
In my kitchen, when the internet was out, I have a little stereo that's under the cabinet. Probably a couple years ago was the last time I did that.
All right.
I did that yesterday.
Yeah, I already knew you do it still.
Because I got Luke Combs, This One's For You Too album in my Saturn. Well, boy, don't look at me like I love Luke Combs. Luke Combs is awesome. I own all 3 of his albums. This One's For You, This One's For You Too, and What You See Is What You Get.
How am I the one from the South? Awesome. And I don't care about country music.
Because you have shitty taste, Willie. We've already established this. Man of Steel fan.
Not like Man of Steel is the best DCEU movie.
See, he's wrong again.
Although I still have not seen Aquaman, so I cannot specify with that one. And yeah, still better than Wonder Woman.
Look, I'll be honest. I live in a world nowadays where for most of my music needs, it's streaming mostly for convenience because almost every room in my house has either a Google Home or an Amazon Echo device in it. So I just walk in and be like, play this, and it does it. And then I just tell it to stop, and I don't have to worry about trying to plug stuff in.
So I actually got a Google Home. I don't have it plugged in, mostly because every time I talk to it by saying those words, my phone goes off as well, and I don't like that.
Well,
I want one or the other.
You can set it up so that it'll do whatever's in closest proximity, and your phone will go off, realize that the Google Home has picked it up, and then just stop.
All right, I guess mine works at least. I only play with it for a little bit, and somewhere else, and I unplugged it and took it here, and never plugged it in since.
It's not a bad device. I have fun with it.
I got it for free from Spotify. They said, hey, we want to send you a free Google Home. I was like, okay.
You can't turn down free.
I mean, you can. I mean, it was completely free, even shipping and handling.
Wow. yeah. See, I use that, and I
Nice.
also use my Echoes because they're built. They have an app for my podcast player that I use, so everything syncs, and I can walk in and be like, "Open Pocket Cast," and it just picks up where I left off on my phone. It's pretty cool.
Speaking of Echoes, have you guys watched Lock and Key, the Netflix series?
Not
Yep.
yet.
What the Chris? We already know you're never gonna watch things
Probably.
ever again.
Probably.
I cracked that fucker out in 2 days. We're like, oh, we'll go slow, we'll take it easy. We watched episodes 1 and 2 on Friday night, and then Saturday we watched the other 8 episodes. It's like that show's just too fucking good.
I think I watched the first 7 quickly, and then it took me like another week to watch the last 3.
That's weird. You just put off the finale, like didn't want to finish it, or
No, just things popped up.
I'm still not
Oh,
even caught up on
stuff
Star
got in
Trek
the way.
Picard, and that came out on Thursday, the most
I
recent
don't even
episode.
care what that is.
Well, the title's kind of
But-
self-evident as to what
Yeah.
it is. It's
Star Trek Picard.
No.
It's Star Trek with Picard.
yeah,
I mean,
Star Trek
I'm
Picard.
a fan
It's about an old
of
guy that makes
the
wine.
Picard actor, but I mean, other than that,
What's
I
that
don't
actor's name, Willie?
Professor Xavier.
Sir
That's true.
Patrick Stewart.
I was waiting to see if you were remembering or if you were
Oh, I do remember. Yeah, I was putting emphasis on his name, but I remember Sir. Oh, you didn't think I was going to remember that part, did you?
I did not. And wow.
I did see a picture of him and Ian McKellen like making out a little bit.
Huh. So Sailor
Those
Poland,
two seem to have the best,
The best
like
bromance.
adult male relationship in the
Say
history.
bromance.
Yeah, it is
Say
like a
it. Say
full on bromance.
There you go.
Prof X and Magneto hang out and like dance around with each other and playing ball pits and just are having their best fucking lives ever, and I love it.
I mean, I hope when I'm his age, I'm able to. Actually, I hope I'm never his age. Tell you the truth, but I mean, I hope when I am his age, I can play in a ball pit.
Yeah, no, I hope I get to their age and have anywhere near the amount of energy and love for life that both those men seem to have.
I'm sure Ian McKellen can play in as many ball pits as he wants.
It's a
That man can probably get it.
so
I'm pretty sure they both do.
I don't know about you guys. We'll go to a brief side topic because I saw something Sailor Poland put in chat. I still have not had a chance to see Sonic the Hedgehog, which is still on my list of
Oh.
things to see.
I can do a little mini review.
Well, real quick, did you see Sailor Poland's comment in the chat room? Allegedly, they're
I
negotiating.
can't see it. It's so tiny.
Okay, well, you could have it open on a separate. Never mind.
I could.
Allegedly, the producers, the directors, whatever of Sonic the Hedgehog are negotiating with one Dwayne the Rock Johnson to play the role of Knuckles in Sonic 2.
Ooh.
I like this.
I mean, a voice only though, huh?
well,
Yeah, it is kind of weird to get the Rock.
Oh
to
no,
do a
no! Whoa,
voice.
whoa, 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 whoa! This could be bad news because then they could probably try and make him become human, and that would be a bad move.
they're gonna make Knuckles become human.
Oh, they're trying to make like. I mean, does anyone really care about Sonic spoilers?
This is the Sega Sonic spoilers. That movie doesn't have a storyline.
Tails comes in at the very end, like a little thing. It's Tails. Who
Good.
cares? It's fucking
As it should.
Tails.
Yeah, yeah.
I mean, he's not in the movie till the very end. He's like, whoop, and he flies off, and that's about it. Looking for Sonic, I guess. What did he do? It's not much of a spoiler.
I'm in. It
Yeah.
sounds like fun to me.
I mean, it was a good movie.
Remember,
It was a good movie.
Sonic
Good
the
entertaining
Hedgehog
movie.
is the video game movie with the biggest opening weekend. It even beat one
Oh, yeah, that's weird.
Detective Pikachu.
That is surprising.
See?
It beat Mario Brothers.
Yeah, that's a real high watermark.
Damn it!
Are you all right there? I just heard it.
Oh, did I steal your joke? Did I steal your last joke, Oreo?
God damn embarrassing.
It's fucking embarrassing. Get it right. You're fucking embarrassing, you pheasant.
You shut the fuck up, Shorzy.
Fuck you, Riley.
This has been your brief Letterkenny interlude.
Hey, Chris, have you watched all Letterkenny yet?
What's that?
You
Have you watched
any
all
more of
Letterkenny yet?
No. There's been stuff that got in the way of a lot of that kind of stuff right now.
Fuck you, Riley. I had your mom going like what I was prop in for a surprise visit to my aunt. Oh.
I finished all of Letterkenny and Little Kenny, and I love it. Those guys they make good fucking comedy. Their shit.
I do
is
need
so
to finish
funny.
the rest of the new season of Letterkenny. I still haven't seen all the last. We got 2-3 episodes in. I can't remember which.
Yeah, the
So I
last
need-
last season's good. What's the Meth Head Stewart gets all
He
jacked
got
up and gets into a
jacked.
fight. Yeah.
Oh man,
Yep,
they just showed
that boy
that
got
off at the
big.
very last scene of the first episode of the new season. I was like, wait, you're ending with this? Whoa, well, hold on a second.
He gets jacked, starts taking down snipes, and then fucking goes and wins himself a fight. It's pretty cool.
Big City Snipes, boys.
Big City Snipes, boys.
Get some blowies, the nappies, and some sandos. Crushing it.
So I guess the real question is, when are you guys going to start your official Letterkenny podcast? We need one on the
I don't know.
Network.
We're taking this podcast over right now. It's this one right now.
All things good in Letterkenny. That's what it's going to be.
There we go.
We'll just scratch out the N and change it to Letterkenny. And change it to an
All things good in puppers.
Well, you guys can do that if you want to.
Things good in puppers. That's not bad.
I'm sure if you guys asked Keith, he would redo the show artwork to change the N in the Scrabble tile to a P or an L.
With the side of Gus and Brew. And Chris is just lost here.
Well, yes. But
So we get this man a puppers.
That's not any different than normal. Let's be honest here.
That's true. We all got our thing.
I mean, if you can't take advice from Brad Pitt, I mean, then you're just living life wrong. That's on you. You're living life wrong, man.
That's true. When he's got 1 minute for Canada, and during that minute he has to call out that he loves Letterkenny. You know, they're doing something right.
I want to hear from our president what he feels about Letterkenny. Is he proud of it?
I don't think the president's in the chat room. You might just.
Well, I know. I didn't assume that. I'm just wondering.
Well, plus he's on the wrong side of the country. He's on the West Coast side of the flip top heads.
Well, aren't they kind of like in the middle-ish in Ontario, in like the middle-ish area?
Well, I mean, middle is in like
Chicago, isn't it?
Yeah, like Chicago's also not the middle of America.
Well,
no matter what.
Midwest.
Yeah, the Midwest is the worst fucking bullshit title ever. You know what fucking the Midwest is? Central America.
Central Eastern too. I would say
the Midwest would be fucking Colorado. That's the Midwest. Fucking Illinois is not the Midwest.
I'm not the one who came up with the naming of it, so don't be angry at me.
I hate that shit.
You could say someone's being a little salty. Foreshadow.
Oh yeah. There's some
not segue time, just foreshadow.
Yeah. And this has been Geography Rage on the All Things Good and Nerdy podcast, where we get mad about how the world is
all sick mode on geography. Why don't you start yelling at Alex Trebek,
Midwest.
Another fine Canadian.
Midwest, my ass. You shouldn't be allowed to use the word West until you're at least past the Mississippi. Bare minimum.
Are we going the Mason-Dixon line here?
I feel like we missed the opportunity to have hit this button right here.
Hit the button.
Warning!
You are now entering Super Dick Mode.
About geography. We haven't used that in forever.
That's true. I haven't had a super dick mode in a long damn time.
Well, no one has.
That's true.
That's fair.
But I think it's good because we've actually been talking more about stuff we like, which is should be a little more the focus of the show.
I do want to go back.
All our time on hate.
Sonic. Don't expect high tier art house movie. Of course, it's just a fun, entertaining movie. That's all you like. I've seen someone on the network trying to expect some stuff. I mean, I thought it was just a good, entertaining, fun flick. That's all it was trying to be, and that's all it was. It wasn't asking you to expect more than that, and people seem to think it was.
You mean I shouldn't go in and expect it to be like 1917?
I mean, I still haven't seen that. I'm not one for war movies myself, which is weird that I like Sonic, because that is a war movie.
It's a war movie?
No, I'm just kidding. Dr. Robotnik's trying to cause war.
So Sailor Poland sums it up for Sonic. Easiest review. The Sonic movie was better than it had a right to be.
Hey, that's my review of Baywatch, actually. It was better than it has any right to be in. That's my review of Baywatch. Trust me, watch the Baywatch with The Rock.
I bought it. I just haven't had a chance to watch it yet.
Trust me, watch it. You will not be disappointed. I guarantee. I even put some Creole on that one.
I actually saw someone. I hadn't thought about it, but somebody online took a picture of what's the cute looking kid from High School Musical that's in Baywatch? Fucking
Zac Efron. He's fucking hilarious in it too.
Yeah. He's funny in it, and he got even more jacked than he's ever been for. Like, he's hugely buff in that movie. And somebody put up a picture of him from Baywatch, and they're like, "How do we not?"
Back Neighbors.
Well, yeah, but I mean, like, he got really big and like jacked for that because he knew he was gonna be standing next to The Rock. And like, they put pictures of him from Baywatch up on the internet, and they're like, "How do we not have a negotiation yet to get Zac Efron to play Richard Rider in a Nova movie for the Marvel Universe?" I'm like, "Oh my God, he would be the perfect Buckethead.
I will
He's
give you
just he plays just dumb funny enough, and he's buff. Like he would perfectly play fucking Nova. Like we need that movie.
during the credits of Baywatch, they do have a little scene with with David Hasselhoff sitting next to the Rock, and they're just like chit chatting back and forth. And and at one point, he just looks at the camera like, "Do I look like a tiny asshole next to him?"
It's like, yes, everybody does.
Yeah, but Baywatch, highly recommended. It better than it had any right of being.
It
I
was
bought
funny.
that movie on a whim, and I was super happy I did. The only one bad part is if you watch the unedited version, I think there is.
Yes.
Oh god, there is a cameo by a fucking douchebag, Jake or Logan Paul. I can't remember which one. They're both fucking douchebags in my book. But he gets kind of made fun of in the movie, but so that's all right enough. But the fact that he's in it, but he's not in the they cut him out of the theatrical version. So hi, fuck you, douchebag.
That's good.
Tell us how you really feel.
I mean, hell, do you want to talk about how he went to the suicide forest and found a dead body?
I don't think we need to dredge up all of that bullshit that they got involved in.
Or do you want to go back to how he made a woman objectifying music video on the a parody of Handlebars by Flowbots, and one of the guys at Flowbots reacted to it and made a whole song making fun of him.
Well, let's avoid that. Instead, let's pivot into the news of the week.
Well, I already said it.
Live from the ATGN studios on the internet, it's the news of the week.
Yes, it's that part of the show, the news of the week, where we run down what is in our minds some of the most interesting geeky and or nerdy news to have popped up here in the past week or so. Or in our case, Bachman and I will have news, and Willie will have an editorial that we'll save for the end because
Willie's editorial corner.
The editorial Willie.
There you go. I think that's the show
I made a
name
face
already.
for those audio listeners.
J. Jonah Williamson? No, that doesn't work.
No, Willie's not as cool as J.K. Simmons.
Oh no, I will definitely admit that. I'm
Dub-
nowhere near as cool as that guy.
W. Willie Williamson. Nah, that doesn't work either.
God, what was that?
JJ
What was that movie he was in with Miles
just-
Teller? I always forget the title of that movie.
Fantastic.
Whiplash.
Whiplash. Was it Whiplash? Yeah. I keep on thinking Drumline. Like, no, that was when that Nick Cannon movie.
Yeah, Drumline.
Like, it's about drumming, so that's where my
Drumline with Miles Teller and J. Jonah Jameson.
Angry Jazz Drumming. That's the name of the movie.
Let's start with the comic book related news. It popped up on the 21st, I believe it was. So I guess it was Friday. The news hit that there was an editorial shakeup at DC Comics owned by AT&T/Time Warner. 10-year co-publisher Dan Didio out the door. And there are people that have great feelings on it. There are people that are upset about it. I'm of the case. I'm like, dude didn't really care for two of my favorite DC characters and tried to kill them off multiple times. So maybe this editorial change will be a good thing for those characters. For those who don't know who I'm talking about, that's Wally West and Dick Grayson. He's tried to kill Dick Grayson how many times, Bachman?
At least 3.
Yeah.
That I know of for a fact.
Yeah, it was not so great. So he was out the door, and some information started to leak out as to why that was the case. So I went to Bleeding Cool, where they had found out that he was fired that morning by Warner Brothers at 10:30 a.m. Pacific in their Burbank offices. Escorted out immediately, and he was fired for cause, which was fostering a poor work environment, end quote.
You ain't got time enough to get your shit. We're going to throw it out with you.
Yeah, and I've heard good and bad responses to this on Twitter, depending on like the artists and writers that have actually worked with him. Because I'll say the guy hated characters that I loved. So like I was not a fan of him as a publisher. But from everything I've read and people that actually worked with him, he was a guy that loved comics. He just didn't like some of the characters I like. But apparently, like, there's a lot of artists and writers that were really huge fans of him and his love for comics. And the fact that he, like, was a good publisher to work for everything I've read. The bad news about this is apparently he was not happy about Apple stripping DC's IP and just using it to make products without having any interaction whatsoever with the comic side. Kind of like the idea.
Apple
AT&T,
computers?
Yeah, Apple, AT&T,
Oh, okay.
all of them owning DC Comics now and wanting to just take and take and take and not like do anything for the comic side of the business. Apparently, he was fighting against that, and that's why one of the reasons they want to get rid of
I
him.
didn't know this. I thought Warner Brothers owned DC
Apple
outright, or is
doesn't
that
own-
just the film version?
Apple doesn't own DC.
Well, AT&T does.
AT&T and Warner Brothers are the same company now.
Yeah,
They are.
AT&T
Yeah.
and Warner Brothers merged.
Oh.
AT&T Time
know
Warner is
that.
all one big company.
I
Yeah,
must
so-
have missed that,
Yeah.
or not cared, because I have T-Mobile bitches.
The rumor that I'm seeing online is that basically AT&T and Apple want to do something along the lines of what Disney did, except not really giving a shit about the comic side of it at all and just taking from it. And he was kind of fighting against that and saying that, like, the idea that, like, we've never understood why it is that if there's all these fucking movies, why are there not advertisements for the Marvel comics in front of the Marvel movies? The fucking source material. Why are they not selling their own product?
Well, they kind of are.
Kind of, but they also don't drive people.
Marvel Scroll has all the comics on
But
it.
they don't drive people to
I know.
comic book shops the way that they could when you have a movie like Endgame come out, and it's the biggest movie ever, and there isn't a 10% spike in comic sales. Why is that not happening?
Because they
Why
don't
are
give
they
a
not
shit about
advertising comics?
Wait, because they don't care about the comic side of the house. We've talked about it on this show
Exactly.
before.
Yeah, I mean,
When I
that's not where they get the money.
Hold on. When I went to C2E2 many years ago with my buddy who's a retailer and was on his retailer pass, we went to one of the events where you sit down with the publisher representatives and tell you what's going on. The Marvel dude just kind of came off like not caring, and effectively at one point in time said, you know, if you've got to think about it from a corporate point of view, what are they going to care about? The movies that make billions of dollars or the comics that break even if they're lucky in some cases. That's where their priority is.
I would also probably think that they would probably think that the movies are advertisement for the comics anyway. Like, I'm sure it does boost sales.
It
At
does,
least
but
a
not
bit.
to the
I mean,
point that it.
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
oh yeah, I agree with you
All
there.
I'm
but
saying is, from what
that's
I've
probably
heard,
their
apparently
process.
Didio was trying to fight against the same type of thing happening at DC, and apparently that's one of the things that pissed off his bosses. Was he wanted the comic side to have more like control in what was happening with the movies.
There's also rumors that some of this has to do with the fact a lot of editors and folks in the editorial side of the house had left lately, citing disputes and conflicts with Dan Didio as part of it. And then there's also Bleeding Cool references, and I wasn't aware that this was coming up because I've kind of been out of the comics world a little bit. DC is heading towards a big change in their publishing program, it says. One aspect is the much rumored 5G or Generation 5. Have you guys heard of what 5G or Generation 5 is supposedly going to be?
5G cell connection.
So
Yeah, it's gonna be awesome.
That's what I thought at first too, because I saw the reference to AT&T. I'm like, 5G. What the hell does that have?
Oh, jeez, I didn't even think about the
Yeah.
AT&T part.
But what this is for Generation 5, it's DC's major figures like Bruce Wayne, Clark Kent, Diana. They've all aged out and been replaced with new characters taking the roles of Superman, Batman, Wonder Woman, etc. as part of the DC timeline. Evidently, some folks at DC Comics were very much against this, but opposition was something he was kind of used to. But there's a lot of rumors that this reboot that effectively kicks all the main characters out, there was a lot of pushback to. And if you believe what some of the dirt sheets say, one of those people that had concerns with this Generation 5 piece was Scott Snyder, who has arguably become one of the bigger voices in DC over the past 10 years or so with his Batman run and involvement in tons of collaborative efforts with Greg Capullo and others there. So maybe that's part of it. And I've got to think from a fan perspective, I love Batman Beyond, but that's kind of the exception. I don't really want to see a series set with Superman's replacement, arguably thousands of years in the future, because he ages so slowly. To age out of it, I don't really care.
Well, and it's the same type of backlash Marvel had because they basically did the same thing all at one jump at the same time as well. They had Miss Marvel replace Captain Marvel. They had I can't think of her new superhero name, but they had the Black Tech chick replace Tony Stark. They had Amadeus Cho become the Hulk.
Riri Williams.
Yeah, Riri. They had Riri, who is an awesome character, and then they had Riri's a cool character. They did
the name.
it wrong.
Seems kind of
Riri Williams. But then they had Amadeus Cho replace the Hulk. Then they had fucking Jane Foster replace Thor. And then you had Miles show up as another version of Spider-Man. He didn't replace Peter Parker, but he was another Spider-Man. And they actually did a poster, like, of the launch that year. And of every character on the image, you couldn't tell who anybody was because they were all, like, other than Miss Marvel, like, they were almost all characters that have been invented in the last, Like that version of the character had been done in the last year. Nobody knew who the fuck they were, and they did them all at once. And so that's why Marvel caught so much backlash. Like Miles was a great character. Bendis built up this awesome storyline with him, where he became this super great hero that replaced Peter Parker in his universe, and for good reasons and for storytelling reasons. And Miles became this awesome Spider-Man. But then they're like, oh no, Amadeus Cho is just going to go take the Hulk power from the Hulk. Why? Because we feel like it. And they did all of it so fast that it ended up pissing off all the old white guys that are very vocal on Twitter. And so you got all this hatred about forced diversity, blah, blah, blah. And it wasn't that any of the individual characters were bad. It was that the ones that had been built up that were awesome, like Miss Marvel and Miles, were great. And then some of the other ones, like they did it like from one issue to the next. The character that used to be the character you loved is not the character anymore, and they've been replaced by a teenager of color in almost every instance.
Well,
and
no
so
one should care about those tiki tortures.
Well, they shouldn't, but they're very vocal on Twitter. And so, like, Marvel took a huge backlash for what they called their forced diversity campaign. And so, yeah, when you look at if someone tries to do the same thing at DC, any of the old guard's going to fight against it because they don't want to see the same thing happen.
Yeah,
if
I'm
it's
going
not
to go
done
out
for
on
a good, if it's not done for a good storyline reason, then give us a good story why it happened. Miles is a great fucking character. I own every single comic book that Miles Morales has ever been the star of, and I own every single Ultimate Spider-Man book. And when they killed Ultimate Spider-Man, it was an amazing story. And when it gave Miles his reason for being a hero, it was an amazing story. It had nothing to do with the fact that he's a black Spanish Spider-Man. It had to do with the fact that he's a great fucking character that Bendis created.
All right. I do got two things. One, hot take. Into the Spider-Verse is the best Spider-Man movie out of all of them.
You're not wrong.
Almost, the best one. And two, since you went to the first comic book, the story reasons, did the Captain America saying Hell Hydra, did that storyline ever was that good?
That's been
I can't remember.
Effectively retconned out, but
yeah, I actually did like it because it was literally a change by the Cosmic Cube that they went back and made it to where when Steve Rogers was a kid and his dad died, the people that like saved his family were Hydra, and they saved his mom. And so as a little kid, story? It actually was a cool story. Back, it was a kick in the balls if you're a Captain America fan to see him actually say Hail Hydra. Like, it was a gut punch, but because it affected you, it's a good story. Like, I read it and was like, ouch, they fucking made Steve like the ultimate Hydra fucking cover agent. Like, that's the worst thing in the world. Like, the worst thing you could possibly do is make him Hydra. And the storyline did make sense and it resolved. So it was very weird because you ended up getting basically Hydra Cap versus Old Man Cap, who was hidden in the Cosmic Cube, coming out and being the real Steve.
Oh, and just like in game.
Kind of, yeah. Like they did like it was kind of like the split personality thing. Like
you just brought that up in my mind.
Yeah, very classic.
If the story's good, that's what you made me think.
But
very classic superhero stuff.
They tried to go too hard down their shock and awe line of being, this is the real Steve Rogers that does this. Then their way out is, oh look, it's a copy of Steve Rogers out of the Cosmic Cube that comes out and fixes everything. And you're like, well, wait, you just said this was the real Steve. This has always been this way. What the hell are you guys doing?
All right, was there a good...
Yeah, that Nick Spencer wanted to put out there when he was writing it was it's still comics, guys. It's just fucking
was
comics.
There a good story reason why, what's his name, Rob Liefeld drew Captain America really weird chestly?
No.
Is there a good story reason for that?
No, there's no story
that
reason
weird
whatsoever for anything to do with Rob Liefeld's bad proportions or his inability to make things in perspective.
Great tiddly mooga.
The giant boob cap.
No, it's not him. I don't think so. Who did Witchblade? Was it Witchblade? Is that the name
Witchblade was Alan Silvestri, who actually has it on Kickstarter. The guy who did Cyberforce. He was an X-Men artist before he went and did Witchblade. Witchblade
did he
has
also do Gen 13?
No, Gen 13 was Jim Lee.
All right, because those styles just remind me of each other. Those big globe.
The globe.
That.
Yeah, product of the 90s.
Yeah,
no, Witchblade actually is on Kickstarter right now. They're redoing, I think it's the first 28 issues that have never been collected in a hardcover are on a Kickstarter right now.
Be nice.
Which actually reminds me, I need to add
story good? Story worth it?
Yeah, the first story arc of Sarah Pazzini getting the Witchblade and then fighting... Oh, shit, I can't remember the name of the fucking first two bad guys she fights. It
How was
actually
the
it was a good
TNT
story.
show? Was it TNT or was it TBS? It was one of those two.
Yeah, it was one of them. It
I think
wasn't
it was
bad.
TNT.
It wasn't bad. It was slightly better
I
than
don't
Birds of
remember
Prey.
TNT. I don't remember having a show on TNT. What? Wasn't USA?
No, it
That
was
was
either,
the
yeah, it was
Femme
either
Nikita.
TBS or TNT. And yeah, the chick that played Sarah Pazzini was great in it. And Yancey Butler. It was Yancey Butler. And the special effects honestly weren't that bad for what they could do with the show at the time. Because like they couldn't have her basically running around naked like she was in the comic. Like they actually had her clothes on and then the suit took over part of her body. But yeah, they did was it Ian Nottingham? Was that the ninja-like dude in the show?
I believe
To,
so.
In the comic? Yeah.
Go to a previous quote of mine. I don't need boobs like a TV show.
Yeah, they weren't bad. They weren't bad at all.
I don't even know where it's streaming or anything now. I mean, but this was probably 20 years ago. This TV show.
Oh, yeah,
Yeah.
just like in the late
Yeah.
90s, I want to say, early
I
2000s.
think it only made it one season.
Oh, I'm sure of that.
What was it on? Was it on Spike TV? Or
I'm sure it was on TNT. I'm pretty sure it was TNT. That's where my mind was going.
I don't know. We'll IMDb this. I will say.
I know. Ted Turner had his hand in it.
While I'm IMDb.
It was TNT. From first episode was June 12th, 2001. Ended August 26th, 2002. Oh, it actually made it 2 seasons. Yeah, Yancey Butler, David Chokachi, and then Will Yun Lee was Ian Nottingham, who was he was a badass in the show. And Anthony Sestaro was Kenneth Irons. That's right. Kenneth
your
Irons
name.
was the bad guy.
It was Eric Itarby that was Ian Nottingham. It says on here. Will Yun Lee was
Eric
Detective
Itarby?
Danny Wu.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, he was her partner. That's right.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was not a bad show. It was not a bad show at the time, especially because I mean, early 2000s, the only really comic book stuff we were getting was Smallville. And so this was another company kind of taking a shot and saying, well, can we do like a comic kind of thing, but not really make it comic booky? Because Witchblade it's about magical artifacts that grant power. And so there's no superhero capes. There's no people chucking buildings at each other. It's very much low key street level superhero stuff.
I really want to go back and watch Smallville.
It's on Hulu. You can watch it all in there.
Oh, it is? Yeah, because I mean that one holds a special. Because I mean, when he started freshman year, I was starting my freshman year, so that's why that was very special to me. It was like, oh, we're timed up. Although Tom Welling was definitely 7 years older than me.
Yeah, he was a little bit older
and
than
a lot better looking.
And you know what? I thought Tom Welling was jacked during his Smallville run. Then I saw him in Crisis. I'm like, dude's even more jacked now.
Still haven't seen.
Oh yeah,
can't even watch.
Well, dude, you haven't seen him on Lucifer?
I didn't watch Lucifer.
Yeah, when he showed up on Lucifer, I was like, oh shit, Tom Welling filled out. Like that boy put on some weight.
Yeah,
and it's like all muscle.
Henry Cavill Superman to Henry Cavill Witcher.
It's a little more impressive than that because Tom Welling was so tall and thin as Clark. Like even when he was putting on like muscle when he was like 24, 25 at the end of the show, like he still wasn't huge.
To be honest, when you're Superman, you don't have to put on muscle mass. You don't have to. Well, because that's not his power. I mean, he just gets it. It's just there.
Certain producers aren't smart enough to realize that, and so they think Superman has to be jacked. But no, Tom Welling put on muscle mass now to where he looks like a full-fledged like adult man. But like he looks like a brick wall now. Like he used to just look like, because he was a model. So like he was a model and he had like put on a little bit of muscle mass and he looked good in the outfits they had him on the show. But yeah, when he showed up on Lucifer, it's like, oh shit, that's the adult Tom Welling now. Holy fuck.
All right. I want a buddy cop movie with him and Henry Cavill together. That'd be
Two
funny.
big bruisers just beating the shit out of people.
Yeah.
That'd be awesome.
Yeah, but you need Henry Cavill.
I'm sorry. This is bad cop, bitch.
You need Henry Cavill to channel his inner Geralt of Rivia where he just goes, fuck.
Fuck. I love that meme with just that quote. Fuck.
I love that show. It grew on me a lot. One of my favorite things about it, they're like, there was a lot of dialogue we had for Geralt in places originally. And then they go, we then realized that Henry could just kind of pull it off with facial expressions or size. So we took his dialogue away.
He did the voice so well.
Yeah.
We don't need exposition. We just need grunts.
I mean, why not? If it fits, it fits.
They're starting to film season 2 right now. It should
just
be
like cats. If I fits, I sits.
Yeah, there's that, I suppose. Bachman, what do you got next for your news?
If it fits, I fucks.
Whoa. I've got
The Witcher. It fits.
If it fits, I fucks.
It sounds like The Witcher. Don't look at me like that.
That's true. It does sound like The Witcher. There have been a whole bunch of updates on the PTB for Dead by Daylight. We got some massive changes coming. I've been watching a bunch of videos. Monto, Puppers, all the guys have been doing videos on the PTB. Some of it looks really fun. Some of it looks super crazy. The big change is we have the new updates. So the new content will be a new survivor named Zarina Kassir, who is a reporter. A new killer called the Death Slinger. A new map called the Dead Dog Saloon on the Grave of Glenville, which I guess is the second version. And apparently they're adding a high ping indicator to the HUD displayed when the local ping to the server is above a certain threshold. White for 150 milliseconds, red for 300 milliseconds. I don't know if that's PC only or if that's going to be PC and console. It's
White?
Always hard to tell.
I've never even seen that much.
White icon or a red icon. Yeah, because usually we see yellow and red.
Or I've been seeing green. I've been seeing a lot of green. Even with my internet,
green.
I've been seeing green, which is I know it's shocking to you guys, right?
I mean, take everything with a grain of salt because it's on the public test build for Dead by Daylight. So all of these changes are being done to be tested on the server that you can access on Steam, which is kind of cool because for anybody who doesn't know, if you play Dead by Daylight, if you have the game on Steam, when they do an update to the public test build, it is available for every single person that owns the game to play. Everybody can go into Steam, download the public test build, and jump into the test build and play it and try out all the changes. And then they do a Survey Monkey survey at the end of it to get everybody's information to see who liked what worked, what didn't work. And I mean, yeah, they're doing some huge changes this time. A lot of it is balance changes for things that haven't changed much since the start of the game. And so the biggest one really is Sabotage, which was one of the original, I think, 4 survivors. Saboteur. And so,
Jake Park. It's a Saboteur.
Yeah, Jake Park came with Saboteur. They have now, this just on the public test build, they're trying it, and I've watched it, and some of it's really fun because it makes things a lot different. They have removed skill checks for hook sabotage. Survivors will no longer be able to sabotage a bear trap with the toolbox or the perk Saboteur, so you can't break the trapper's traps anymore, which was kind of it really sucked. If someone was running a sab build and you're playing the trapper and you only have 5 traps, and you go into a match and they find 3 of them and break them, and then you have 2 traps, like it sucked as the trap.
Well, but you can still disarm them, right?
No, once they broke them, they were
no.
broke.
I don't mind them taking away the fact that you can break them, but you can still disarm them, right?
Yes, yeah. You can
okay. I'm all right with it. I thought they took away that. Oh,
no, you just can't permanently break them. As far as I know, you can still still disarm. You just can't break them.
Oh, it broke them forever? I thought it was a time limit, kind of like when you broke hooks, they would fix themselves after 3 minutes.
Maybe, but 3 minutes is too goddamn long to be without your traps as the trapper in a match.
Oh, yeah, I'll give you that.
However long it was,
them taking away the breaking of the traps. I'm all right with that, but I thought you were saying like you couldn't disarm them, so that just cut off loops completely.
You can still disarm them as far as I know. Then one of the other big changes, killers may not hook a survivor on a hook that is currently being sabotaged. And one of the reasons that's probably also not going to happen excuse me, is that a sabotage now takes 2.5 seconds. It used to be a long bar, just like a generator, upwards of 10 to 15 seconds, and like it took forever. Like, and if someone was carrying a survivor to a hook, you had no chance of getting the hook done. So you would go around with Saboteur if you were running it, and you would 99% a hook, and then if someone got knocked down, you would run over and try to just real quick hit the last 1%. Break the hook, and then the killer would be pissed and have to try to carry him somewhere else. Now, the Saboteur has changed to where if you're running Saboteur, I think it refreshes every 60 or 90 seconds. When they knock a survivor down, when they pick them up, all hooks around them in a 30-meter radius get lit up so that the survivors can see where the hooks are. And you can run to the hook and in 2.5 seconds break the hook before the survivor gets hooked on it. So you can actually stop killers from getting hooks now with this perk. So it's a huge change. It's going to be way different. And then
I wonder how they're going to change that one perk, the pigs perk that makes hooks come back faster within 30 seconds. How is they going to change that? Hangman's trick?
They changed Hangman's trick. Yeah, it has a massive change to it.
Okay.
They also made huge changes to toolbox items and add-ons. Survivors will no longer be able to sabotage a bear trap, even with the toolbox, so we know that. Toolboxes now have fewer charges when they're using a generator, but have a greater speed boost. So when you use the toolbox, like it used to be like the huge toolboxes it'd be like 180 charges, and like it would be slowly
Commodus
ticking down.
toolbox.
Yeah, and it took forever. And you could use that thing on like 3 generators. Now, like it moves. Like it's like instead of like 180 charges, it's like 10. Like it goes super fast. But when it does, it also does a super fast increase to how fast you repair the generator. So they're balancing out those items. And then this was the other thing that's kind of weird. When a survivor item reaches 0 charges, they may keep it. If they escape with that item, it will automatically be refilled for the next trial. So even if you fully use your toolbox with your add-ons, if they're not running a perk that makes you, if they're not running Franklin's Demise that make you drop the item, you just run around with a toolbox that's empty. But if you escape with it, that toolbox gets refilled. So your items no longer just disappear when you use them up completely. You're still carrying them, which I think is kind of cool, because if you use a key and then you end up in a match where you kick butt and you don't end up needing the key, but then like right before you exit the gate, you get hit with Franklin's Demise and lose your key, it kind of sucks because you didn't use it, but you lost it anyways. Now, if you carry an item out through the door, you just get to keep it, even if it's been used up. So yeah, it's going to be a massive change if that one stays the way it is. And then they said they removed the possibility of all splinter offerings to spawn in the blood web and disabled all splinter offerings, but I don't know what splinter offerings are, so I don't know if that was an old one that I haven't seen.
Splinter offerings, I think that was for I think there was an offering called Splinter that was for you to try out killers you don't own, the license.
Oh, okay,
I think
that was
so.
like the one where it turned like the hillbilly into the Leatherface.
Or no, anybody could get it, because I have a bunch for my doctor. It keeps giving me the Leatherface ones. I don't want them because when you use them, you all your perks you don't get any perks or add-ons for your
because
power.
you become the other killer.
Yeah,
Okay.
you just pretty much get to use the ability. It's like a demo for it, and it's not really useful because you got no perks then.
Yeah, it's kind of weird, but I mean, it lets you
at
try
least give
killer.
all their own perks with level 1, but then I guess that lets you get the trophy for free.
Yeah, for a death, which they can't give you that. But yeah, so massive changes to those types of items, and then there's a whole bunch of just updates to the doctor that they're trying different stuff after he's been
more
buffed.
stuff.
Yeah, different changes to where the 3 big ones are: madness no longer decays passively over time, so just being outside of his terror radius. Well, this is all listed on the PTB, so. It says shock therapy will add half of a madness level to any survivor hit, and static blast adds a full madness level.
That was his last change.
It sounds like it, but yeah, it's listed right now on the PTB notes, on the patch notes.
That's weird.
Yeah, so they've got all that going on, and then the sabotage stuff, item retention, killer changes. Yeah, there's a whole bunch of different changes to the trapper to the hangman's trap, everything having to deal with and affected by changes to saboteur. That's all been reflected, different stuff across the way. But yeah, we have the Death Slinger is the new killer, who is super creepy, is a killer power Death Slinger, the Redeemer. His ingenuity affords him the ability to reel in bounties with a unique invention, a heavily modified hybrid rifle that replaces conventional ammunition with a razor-sharp spear affixed to a chain. So basically, he looks like an undead cowboy, and he has a rifle that shoots a spiked hook. And if he hits you with it, he can then reel you in and then smack you and get a hit. And so basically, it's the second long-distance attack killer other than the Huntress. And it's just crazy to watch because you have the option of breaking the chain. Like, you can fight against it when he hits you with it. And if there's a wall in between you or a tree or a rock or a generator or other survivors, it speeds up how quickly the chain will break. So there's ways to get away from him, and then you get you're wounded, and you have to get away from him and heal yourself. And then his killer perks are Gearhead, Dead Man Switch, and Hex Retribution, which also have really cool ways of being played with. The Gearhead one is also very cool. After hitting a survivor 2 times with your basic attack, so just hitting them with your whack, each time a survivor completes a good or great skill check while repairing a generator, it will rebuild by a yellow aura as long as it is being repaired. So basically, if you hit anybody twice with your weapon, then for the next 30, 40, or 45 seconds, you can see every skill check on the map. Like, that's great information for the killer. Dead Man Switch, after hooking your obsession, it activates. When activated, any survivor that stops repairing a generator before it is fully repaired causes the entity to block it. So there's multiple perks that they've had that block generators. This one will be if someone gets hooked, and someone like steps away from a generator to go check something and comes back, it'll be blocked. And then you'll be able to see that as well. See, the Hex Retribution is another one to stop people. Since Nancy came out, she has the ability to break a Hex totem, and then if you get hurt, you crawl into a locker, and in 8 to 10 seconds, you're fully healed. So everybody's been breaking all of the dual totems. This one, Hex Retribution, a hex that lashes out its destruction. Those who cross it will be punished. Any survivor who cleanses a dual totem will suffer from the oblivious status effect, so they can't hear the killer or hear the terror radius. And if any hex totem is cleansed, including this one, the auras of all survivors are revealed for 10 seconds. So basically, all three of his perks are designed to give the killer information about where all the survivors are on the entire map. And it's awesome.
Oh, yeah, that one in particular, that's probably gonna be widely used with haunted
Hex
grounds.
Yeah, if you run haunted ground, ruin, and hex retribution, because like any totem that gets broken, it tells you where they are. Like that's so good. And then Zarina is the
they
new
nerfed ruin so much, and I'm thankful for it because it was kind of ruining.
But that Zarina's perks off the record just is kind of dumb,
just a little bit.
Yeah. But she has two good ones, Red Herring and For the People. Red Herring, after repairing a generator for at least 3 seconds, it's highlighted with yellow. Generator stays highlighted until it is fully repaired, or you repair a new generator, or you enter a locker. So with this perk, when you enter a locker, a loud noise will trigger on the generator that you were repairing for over 3 seconds. So you can go into the Killer Shack, repair a generator for 3 seconds, it turns yellow. You can run across the map, go into a locker on the other side of the map, and when you go into that locker, that generator on the other side of the map will make a noise like someone's working on it to get the killer's attention, and then you can come out of that locker and work on the generator next to you over there.
And it's just the last generator you're working on.
It's the last generator you worked on, yeah. So you can use it to basically make fake noises across the map. It's like the pebble charm, but it's doing a pebble noise on a generator from the other side of the map.
Imagine the other one went around and worked on every gen and then hopped in a locker and the whole map like, what the hell?
Yeah, it's only the last gen that you worked on. But yeah,
that definitely cool. Like, what in the tarnation's going on around here?
The other one that's great is For the People, which basically, as you're healing somebody, you press the active ability without a med kit to instantly heal them from dying to injured or from injured to healthy. So you get broken for 90 seconds and you get injured. So you're basically handing a health status to another player, which means if somebody's downed and the killer's trying to slug them, you can literally run up to them, tap a button, and they're on their feet instantly, and you can both run away. Like that is going to change how the game is played.
It's kind of like when something's very specific to the timing, it is called, there's a word for it, situational adrenaline.
Yeah.
There we go.
Kind of, yeah. But yeah, it's definitely, those two perks of hers will work really good for changing the way the game's played, and his perks are going to be massive game changes as well because they give so much information to the killers. It's going to be fun to see how these perks get used by everybody.
For that perk, you can also just use it to fully heal someone too, right? It's just one health state.
Yeah. So if they're injured
just
and you're
one health state, not just from the dying state.
Yeah,
only.
It's from dying to injured or injured to healthy.
Yeah, so just one health state.
Yeah, and then you become injured and you get broken for 110, 100, or 90 seconds, and you also become the obsession. So it changes the obsession status as well.
I do want to apologize to Chris because we're speaking Mandarin Chinese to him.
It's okay. There's people that understand it. I don't necessarily have to understand everything.
I mean, I know we turned into very big Dead by Daylight fanboys of this podcast.
Yeah, it's a bunch of huge changes, but honestly,
the
storyline of Deathslinger is really cool. The story, I read a little bit of the backstory of Zarina. It's pretty cool for her as well.
He's a root tootin' shooting boy.
Yeah. He's a root tootin' shooting boy that had a really fun time in a jail. And then, the Dead Dog Saloon is another outdoor map that contains multiple buildings, including a hangman's platform where when you finish the generator...
Gallows.
Yeah, it contains a gallows with a generator on it. And on the sides of the generator, there are trap doors. So when you finish the generator, you fall through a trap door. And then the huge change, there are walls that are destructible in the Dead Dog Saloon. So you can literally bust through a wall, old school Jason Voorhees style, and scare the hell out of survivors. And the cool thing about that, is that hopefully they'll be adding it to the other maps, because right now it's only on the Dead Dog Saloon map.
I haven't actually seen anyone burst through a wall yet.
Yeah, the bad thing about it is that, no, I haven't seen it yet. The bad thing about it is it's not really designed to do anything other than break loops. And right now it's the same animation that they use for kicking a pallet. So the Death Slinger hits the pallets with the butt of his gun. When he goes up to break a wall, he does the exact same animation. So that part kind of sucks because I want a new animation for the killers. Because I think Willie knows what we want all the killers to be able to do.
Oh no, I'm sorry, it's parody time.
Oh.
Death Slinger's coming down from the gallows, and I don't have very long. Boom,
exactly. No, Sailor
boom,
Polo
boom.
got what I was getting at in the chat room. We want the killers to be able to bust through the wall and say, "Oh yeah,
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah. We
Up
definitely
Kool-Aid
want the new
Man
killer to
style.
be Kool-Aid Man.
yeah," and just scare the shit out of the survivors.
And we had a very missed opportunity for. I mean, if Dead by or if he would have survived till the time Dead by Daylight came out, or Dead by Daylight came out back then, we missed a very good time for Macho Man to play the Kool-Aid Man.
Oh
Yes.
yeah.
Oh yeah, drink some Kool-Aid.
But yeah, so if you got it on Steam, you got it on PC, I think you have up until Tuesday to try out all the changes on the PTB. I mean, just all the videos that Puppers and Monto, those guys have been putting up. It looks super fun. The Dead Dog Saloon map looks really cool because it's nighttime or daytime versions of it. It's a giant Old West town with like cactuses and brambles and bushes, like all new vegetation. Like it's the first map that looks absolutely nothing like any of the other maps at all. Like it's all brand new from the ground up. It's really coolly designed. And like it literally has an Old West saloon with an automatically playing piano in the middle of it. So you can go into the saloon and listen to the piano music. Like it's super cool. But then depending on what the survey is, the changes they like, changes they don't like, people's response to it. I'm really excited to see this next killer come out because it's another range killer. It's a crazy ass undead cowboy, and 5 of the 6 perks honestly look awesome, which is pretty good compared to, sometimes the killer comes out, it's like, oh, they got that one good perk, and sometimes they have 2, but like this is a killer. I think all 3 of his perks really work well depending on the type of build you're building with your killer. Like all 3 of his perks are valid and can work with lots of other killer setups.
I mean, when the Stranger Things DLC came out, I was very happy. I was very happy Steve the Hare Harrington was going to be in there. But I wish his perks were just as good as Nancy's. Because Nancy's perks, oh my god, all her perks were great.
Nancy's perks were great. Steve's perks
I still use constantly. It's a constant of mine. Is Better Together. Yeah, that is a constant. Inner Strength's good and Fixated. Oh, they're so good.
Inner Strength is awesome, but like Steve's perks were kind of lackluster. This is one where literally I think 5 of the 6 perks are solid, valid, high end game perks. Like,
but
they're
that new
really
totem,
well designed.
That new killer totem perk that's going to kind of kill off Inner Strength a bit. It's going to counter that a whole lot.
Yeah, Hex Retribution is going to mess with anybody that's running Inner Strength. So I love the idea that like they build something and they give you a counter for it. You had people body blocking at hooks, and so they give us Legion to like hack at people that were blocking hooks, and like you get a response to something and you respond back. Like the best thing about behavior, I mean, there's matchmaking problems, there's freaking rank problems, there's glitches, there's all these other problems. But this is a company that listens to their community, that listens to the feedback, that listens to the surveys, and they make changes to their game as they go forward. They have always done positive changes as they've gone forward, making this game better and better and better.
Well, there are 2 things I will say about this game. I was playing the other night. I was ranked 20 killer because I haven't played killer. The ranking, you start at 20 and rank 1 is the top. Bachman, last time we played, I think I was like 6 or 7 in my rank survivor. I'm now rank 4. You just play the game. It's not that hard to get up the red rank. I don't really care about ranks because it doesn't matter what rank the killer is. It's kind of whether or not that person counters your play style. That's what really matters. I mean, they could be a brand new killer if they just play in a way that counters your playstyle naturally. It's just how it goes. Like, but yeah. So I was playing when I was like 3:30, 4 o'clock in the morning, and I know when I jumped in, like if I try to be a survivor, it's gonna take, I don't know, like good 10 minutes probably to find a match, 5 to 10 minutes. And so I didn't want to just sit there for that long, just saying doop to doop, finger up my ass, whatever. So like, what? I'm gonna be killer. I'm gonna do a killer match.
What? You get bored and you put a finger up your butt?
That's what he waits. That's what he does when we wait for matches. I read a book. He sits there with his thumb up his ass and goes do to do do to do do to do.
Fine, if we're being real, I just sit here and look at Reddit. If you want to be fucking realistic here, goddamn, I'm trying to make a fucking joke.
It's a phone, so he only needs the one thumb. The other thumb's up his ass, and he says do to do do to do.
First of all, it'd be very uncomfortable to sit on like a closed fist with a thumb up your ass. I mean, not the thumb up your ass part, just the sitting on the. I have an armchair recliner. There's no
Sure you
between
do.
the cushions.
Sure you do.
Listen here, mother. I'm not even gonna. But so I was like, I'm just gonna play killer here, just because. And then I found out like finding a killer match on that game, instantaneous.
Yeah.
Just bam, you're there.
And you earn more blood points. So yeah, if you play killer, you're gonna you.
And I haven't played killer in so long. And I had on all my and they give you daily rituals, daily like challenges to do, like get the extra blood points. And I'm pretty sure they do it where they make it whatever you're playing mostly not as. If you're playing mostly survivor, they give you it's always gonna be a killer challenge. And if you play killer mostly, I'm sure they give you like survivors ones.
Yep.
So I instantly got to a match, and I played for like after 2 nights of playing, I was already rank 13. So I don't see why people say this is so hard to get in ranks, Bachman.
Because I'm busy playing Apex Legends.
No. You were even saying when we were maining this game, you were still saying it.
No, because
you're like, what are you always red ranks for? Because I just play. I just play and I'm there.
Yeah, well.
It just gives me the pips. But and a second thing, this might be a bit of a segue. It's not as bad as Overwatch, but the toxicity can be there. It's not as bad as Overwatch because there's no in-game voice chat. There's no native voice chat in-game. You have to be in part of a party chat to play, to talk to anybody. I really wish they would kind of
except on PC. On PC, there's a chat room pre-game for the survivors and post-game. Yeah, when they're in the lobby, survivors can talk to each other, but the killer can't see it. Post-game, the killer and all 4 survivors are in a small chat room where there's some saltiness. Because, Monto likes to add it in his videos when he does a video as a killer, and it makes him really salty.
Well, I mean, I've also seen just like a lot of stuff like on the forums and the Dead by Daylight subreddit. People were saying like it's always like if the survivors just run through the GG, easy baby killer, like stuff like that. I'm like, there's no point in that stuff when you're just being toxic to someone like that. Once again, it's not as bad as Overwatch. Overwatch was really bad. Like, even for female players, they would just get a lot of bullshit. Like, oh, why aren't you being Mercy? Why weren't you just healing me? Like, I heard that before. I'm like, what? Be whatever makes you feel more comfortable. You being more comfortable, like, with the character you choose. Just whatever. That's here and there. But yeah, just people being just salty, you could say.
It's almost like we're transitioning over to someone's
gaming
editorial that's entitled "Salt Licks in Gaming," according to my show notes.
Yes, and I also had an alternate title of "Saltness Every Game." The hunter games, if you will.
I see what you did.
And before I even transition fully to this, I will say that new map, it's kind of makes the game alive because there's a sunrise on that map. And so it's daylight. We ain't all dead. We're running around. We ain't dead yet.
Yeah, but he's working.
You're lying to me. I know. It's just
the Death Slinger's working on it. He's trying to get you all dead before the sun gets all the way up.
So now I'm just taking a wild guess that everyone here has had a moment or two, at the very least, where you get a bit on the ornery side during an online match. Am I right in that?
Buzz, I want to change my Twitch stream to Salty Sailor Gaming. Yes.
Ooh, you can change the name pretty easily, can't you?
I've been thinking about it.
Yeah. I'd be there. It fits you perfectly. I mean, with the sailor part. I mean, the salty. Yeah, you can get pretty salty. I mean, but it's
God's
all
throwing some salt on you in the chat room.
Who is?
You're only God.
What were they saying about me?
They literally
they were tossing some salt for you.
Say what? Oh, saw like a little salt shaker.
Yep. And then the Nightbot yelled at them.
Salt. But I mean, when you do get salty, it's all on how you react to it. Like when we play Apex Legends, like I know I'm not that good at it. Those Twitch shooters, I'm not that good at it, but it never gets to me. Like I'm not going in there expecting to win. Although I did get a win a couple days ago we'd finally got the first win I've ever had in a while, and it was so fucking awesome. It was a good feeling. But how you deal with your own feelings with the saltiness when you get angry at the game online, that's I think is key. I mean, we've all been where we gotten overly angry, right?
Yeah.
I mean, Chris, can you back me up on this?
Yeah, we've all had those moments before.
I myself am guilty of being too salty, believe it or not. Sometimes while playing Dead by Daylight, I've been known to leave a message to face camping tunnelers. Like, I mean, if they're doing it like blatantly, I will go in. I mean, a lot of times they have it set up so they have private messaging where you can't message them unless you're a friend of theirs. And I'm like, fine. Then I see you know what you're doing.
That's usually because they know they're a piece of shit.
Yeah. But when people are salty back to me first, I love to have a little fun send messages back. Bachman, you were actually here. Here's an example.
Yep.
Bachman, you were here for this. Like I get the message. Some people like to farm on Dead by Daylight, where like they just like the killer and the survivors just like they just do these things, just get blood points, and the killers let the survivors leave, so everyone gets a bunch of blood points.
And especially now with the Rift, because there are very specific things that killers or survivors have to do during a match to do a master challenge. Sometimes you have to do something 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 times during a single match, and sometimes that is tough.
And they were asking me, this person messaged me like, let me do the spirit challenge. You can escape. And I think I'm the only one that got it because Bachman, you didn't say you got it, right?
No, I didn't get a message on that.
Or I'm going to say their name. I mean, no one messaged him or anything because I don't want that. I just love their fucking name. I will say that. Your name is awesome. Thought Boppity.
Yeah, Thought Boppity.
Boppity. I was like, I thought that was hilarious. I mean, I'm going to give you credit on that one. But yeah, so let me do the spirit challenge. You can escape. And then I didn't respond to them. I was like, I thought just not responding to them would be good enough because also we're loading into the match. I don't have time enough to respond just to say no because I don't like farming. I play the game because I want to play the gameplay. I don't want to sit there and farm. It's boring to me. It's always been boring to me. I've always been against it. I mean, I will have the wild hair or I just go with it because because I'm playing with Survivor friends and everyone else wants to do it. So I'm like, all right, let's just do this. I'm like, I don't care about all of the blood points. I just want to do the things, and I'm like, I'm all right with it. But he said, let me do that. And afterwards, he comes to a gen I'm at, and I sneak away before he even sees me. And he's just hitting the gen, moving back and forth, hitting the gen over. He doesn't know where I am. I can see him, but he has no idea where I am. Just hitting that gen. And then finally he sees me and starts chasing after me a little bit. And then all of a sudden, game closes. Killer quit. So that just ends the match right then and there. And I'm like, great. I mean, I don't get salty about it. I'm just a little upset. Like, I wasted some time here because it takes, for Survivor, it takes time to find a match. So it's just like, so now we have to sit back in the lobby and just wait again for another match. So I sent him the message back going.
That and any offerings we used, it was past the 5-second mark. So any offerings we used were burned.
Oh, yeah, that too. So I just sent the message going, oh, so many W's. So many W's. Yeah, and so they send me a message back. So it's going to be a back and forth. You can figure out where the back and forth is. Like, literally giving you a free rank up, but whatever. Your loss. Aww, I play the game for the gameplay, not farming. So just say no so we don't waste our time, lol. We? You mean you and you only? You are wasting my time by being a quitter. Be better. And then they proceed to send me a screenshot of someone else asking them to do helping them with the spirit challenge. And then they quote me, you and only you? Yeah, sure, bud. Keep that ego high. It'll get you far in life. And so I come back, and this was thanks to you, Bachman. I think, too, you said this. Like, no one cares about your baby tears.
That's true.
Or you might help me with the next one. I can't remember. It's like, hey, you're wasting my time by being a quitter. Quoting me again. Who's really the baby here? LMAO. I would say you are. You're still crying to me and still wasting my time with your crybaby messages. You can just not respond to these, right? LMAO. You're wasting your own time responding, moron. Just set up private messaging. Or you can't because your 2 listeners of your podcast have to fuel that ego. I will state under my about me on the PlayStation, I will say I'm a co-host of All Things Good and Nerdy. I have that put up there. And so I said, yeah, but I don't really care. I have no feelings towards this or you. It's not making me mad. And then he just stopped responding after that. Although, it took me a while to respond to that because I got into a match. Finally.
You fed the trolls, though. That's part of the problem. I mean, it was entertaining.
Oh, no, I didn't feed with what I was saying, I wouldn't because I had no feelings towards it. I was just being nonchalant, like, whatever with it. Like, yeah, whatever's. Yeah, because I had really didn't care about it. That's what the best part about it. Even with the podcast, I was like, I don't care about this or you. I thought that was, just not making me angry at all. And I know that's what they were looking for. Hell, one person was like, I had to have to scroll down for that messages. And they were like getting on me saying, "Yo, you're all angry." I'm like, "Nah, not really. I mean, you were face camping, tunneling. I'm just calling you out on it. That's all I'm doing." And they were just back and forth like, "Oh, you're upset by this. I'm making you angry." And I think finally I was like, no, I mean, you were good until you started face camping. You were actually a pretty good killer. And I was like, hey, do you want to like maybe survive a friend? Sometimes they thought I was like making fun of them or something. I was being genuine. My anger level was done. I mean, I was a little angry at him at first, but then that kind of subsided. I was like, yeah, there's no purpose to be angry. So I was like, hey, you just want to survive with friends? I mean, and they were like, didn't think I was serious at first. And I think they said yes, but I don't think we ever did. Just went ghosted or whatever, which is all right by me. I don't care. I have plenty of friends I can play Dead by Daylight with. I will do a call out to one of my friends. His old name was Usernames Unknown, but now his new name is It's 3 a.m. and I'm Lost.
Which is a great gamer tag.
Oh yeah, that dude, he is way better than me at Dead by Daylight. Supremely better. As killer and survivor. I will always give props to him. I'm going to let him know I gave him props on this show, too, because, I play with him pretty frequently. So, yeah. Oh, my God. Like, when we do, like, Kill Your Friends, when we have, like, 5 people just in a party chat, and, like, well, we can't do Survivor Friends. Let's do Kill Your Friends, because it's a fun little side thing. You make a little custom game. Oh, yeah, because they call it custom game now, not Kill Your Friends. I always like that name. But, yeah, he's always... Oh, and he's a nurse, too. He's a nurse main. Oh, my God. When's the last time you played against a nurse Bachman on console?
It's been a while. I probably haven't seen more than 2 since the update. Mm-hmm. And I mean, and that's, a couple hundred matches at least. Oh, yeah.
You don't see him. And the add-ons he puts on, the perks he puts on. We played a Kill Your Friends. It was 2 of my friends that he's never played with. And they were just like calling like, damn, dude, you're fucking too good at this.
Does he like the new nurse after the changes?
Oh, yeah, it's not that I don't think it's not the matter of he likes it. He understands it. It's just instant like that. I think when he worked, he used the perk of infectious fright. So he would knock someone down and instantly see someone and slug him and go for him. And the nurse, he can, because pallets and loops, they don't fucking matter to the nurse if you can do it right, and he can do it right. He understands how to teleport. It's just something he gets.
Yeah, it's because honestly, there's only 3 killers I don't have a depth with yet, and one of them is the nurse. I couldn't get it with the old nurse, and I can't get it with the new nurse.
I tried doing a nurse with Kill Your Friends one time just to try it out, and it's with friends, so it doesn't really matter. And I did so poorly. Everyone escaped, and I wasn't angry about it. I was like, man, I just suck as nurse. That's all there is to it.
Hell yeah, Letterkenny by Daylight. That's our new podcast, Willie.
That's all we talk about. I'm all right with that.
Just Letterkenny and Dead by Daylight.
You guys better buy the domain right now before someone snakes it from you.
Let them do it. Who cares? We can come up with a better name.
Ooh.
Dead by Letterkenny.
Dead by Letterkenny.
We'll switch it up with you. We don't care. Yeah.
There are 5,000 survivors in Dead by Daylight. These are their problems.
Hit pitter patter hookerino. I come up with these for days, man. You can't stop me.
Pitter patter, let's get trapping.
McMillan is a piece of shit. Boom. I'm getting you. That's a little bit deeper cut because McMillan is a character is like the trapper's father, I think, or something like that. Or the family name, McMillan.
Yeah, Evan McMillan is the
trapper.
So
that's a little bit deeper cut for you. I can go deeper with this, man. I can do this for days. But actually, you know what podcast I would really like
Screw
to start?
You, Leary.
Yeah, I mean, I can't run it because I don't got the proper equipment for it, but I would love to do a riff track podcast. That'd be fun. That's a dream. I don't know who would listen to it or anything. That audience level is low because you have to watch a movie with it. It's like Mystery Science 3000. It would be something I'd love to do. I think I make good jokes.
You'd have a difficult time being able to claim it as fair use. Would be, well, you could, but you'd have to be fighting it a lot.
Oh, no. You only hear the voices of the people. You have to watch the movie along with the podcast. Yeah, so that's how you.
Yeah, you have to do the audio separate because there's a couple of people that have done it, like Mystery Science Theater 3000 type of thing, like Riff Traps. But yeah,
you just
have to make sure it's only your audio.
Yeah, but it's called Riff Track is like this the subgenre of the commentary.
No, this is not terrible to do if you want to do it.
Oh yeah, Kevin Smith did it with the Batman movies.
Well, Kevin Smith's also Kevin Smith.
Yeah,
Oh,
I'm saying like he did that type of thing with the Batman movies specifically for the what is now called the Batman Beyond podcast.
since I am a tangentleman because I love my tangents. Speaking of Kevin Smith, I just rewatched that movie Southland Tales. Chris, I doubt you ever seen it, but Bachman, have you seen it?
Uh-huh.
Okay, I figured you have. I know you haven't, Chris, right?
I have not. No,
Did you even heard of it?
I have not.
You would. You actually might like it just because the ensemble cast. I hope that's not
it's
too
got-
loud. My heater's
It's got
making
The
a lot of
Rock.
weird
It's got
noise.
Kevin Smith. It's got Justin
yeah.
Timberlake.
Yeah, Sean William Scott. I mean, I'm not gonna lie. I'm very comfortable with my sexuality. Sean William Scott is a very fucking attractive man, especially in that movie. Jesus Christ, not gonna lie.
I think he's a goon.
Oh, I see what you did there.
did there.
I think he's really a goon too. What's the subtitle of that fucking movie?
I can't
don't know
believe
if
we
it had
made
a
a sequel.
No, there was
Yeah.
a sequel, but I can't remember.
No, that's the subtitle. Is I can't believe we made a sequel.
I mean, it was a good movie. I can't remember anything about it, but it was a good movie. Yeah, but Southland Tales, Kevin Smith was in it, and I didn't even. I remember seeing him in like when I was looking at the cast, and I was like, "Who?" And it said his name. I don't remember in this. And when I rewatched it like earlier this week, I was like, "Holy shit, that's they did a great makeup job."
Yeah, he does
Oh,
not look like Kevin Smith in it.
Could not look. I mean, until I heard him sound like he sounded like pretty much the basement dweller in Live Free or Die Hard.
Yep.
Is my
The
heater
wizard.
making too loud of a noise? Can you hear that through
No, I
the
can't hear it.
microphone? Good.
I
'cause
can
it's making
slightly
loud-
hear, but it's not bad.
All right, just making sure. I would mute my mic and let you talk through it. I don't know why. So you quiet down over there, bud. It's not cool, man. I'm trying to do a podcast. But yeah, I'm sorry for the tangent. But yeah, Southland Tales. I would highly actually remake just for the ensemble cast for you alone, Chris. And
I'll
The
take a
Rock,
look at it.
he does a nervousness so good. No, you can leave it. It's all good. But yeah, he does a nervousness that is so good. Like he does like a little eye twitch too. It's like, holy shit, The Rock is showing range. Although in watching it now, it looked like someone CGI'd The Rock's head over someone who's just less muscular than The Rock now. It's weird looking back at it.
Yeah, I'm looking
It's
at
like
it on
so-
IMDb right now. I'm like, holy crap, he looks tiny compared to what he
Yeah, but
is. in-
seeing emotion is like it almost has like my eyes just like my mind just knows The Rock now, so it's like almost uncanny valley. Whereas like it looks like the motion doesn't quite fit it, but I know it's just him. It's just so weird. But yeah, the ensemble even has John Lovitz in there. Fucking love John Lovitz.
Acting.
Sherry O'Terry, Sarah Michelle Gellar,
Curtis
Mandy
Armstrong.
Moore, Curtis Armstrong, fucking booger. Hell yeah, I know Curtis Armstrong. Wallace Shawn, who you might know as Inconceivable.
I saw Booger eating lunch breakfast one day, and I didn't bother him.
That's the right thing to do, though.
You know what?
Yes.
Actually, you know what?
It was awesome because I caught his eye and I gave him a nod,
Yeah,
and he just
Okay.
that's all
he
you do.
nodded. Yep, I didn't bug him.
Okay,
It
as long
was
as you do
at-
something like that, I mean,
It was
yeah.
it was Lexington
Armstrong.
Comic and Toy Convention. I'm sitting there eating breakfast the Saturday morning of the con, and I look up and like four
Okay,
tables
that's
across
fine.
from me is fucking Curtis Armstrong sitting down to eat his breakfast. I looked up like, and
I
just
just,
kind of nodded.
I
at
just
him.
like to go to him and say
Yeah.
one line. I'm like, this mountain is 100% snow. That's from Better Off Dead, one of my favorite 80s movies.
He's
teen
an actor I
flicks.
grew up with. I always loved his stuff, but yeah, I didn't want to bother him while he was eating because it
That's
wasn't
fair.
during the convention. He's there to sign and meet people.
I would.
I
mean,
don't want to
still-
bug him during a meal, but yeah,
That's
it was
fair.
very cool just to see him sitting there chilling. I was like, oh, dude, Booger's having breakfast over there.
I mean, I'm sure if it wasn't at a convention, if it wasn't at that setting, if you just randomly saw him, like, you know, I mean, sure, I'm sure he'd be one of those people who wouldn't mind because, you know, Curtis
No.
Armstrong, who knows that guy? I mean, like, really.
Well, dude,
I'm
you also got to remember he's Metatron on Supernatural, so there's a whole new audience that loves him for something new.
I never called it. I
Yeah.
never saw that far into
On
it.
Supernatural, he's the voice of God.
Never saw that much into Supernatural, but oh wow, yeah, the voice of
Yeah,
God, not
he's the voice
not
of God.
God's voice, not the
No.
literal voice, but the personification of.
Yeah. He's
Yeah,
the
yeah.
Metatron.
He's the new Hans Gruber. What the fuck's his name?
Exactly.
No,
Alan
Alan-
Rickman.
Alan Rickman.
Alec.
What are you gonna
yeah,
do?
Alec Rickman.
Hit me
Jesus,
with
that's
that
my breath.
fish?
Fish. Yeah, it was the way he says fish. Going back to Kevin Smith now.
Yep. More Metatron.
Oh my god. Yeah, but I mean, you know what? I would really wish that someone would notice me from this podcast. I'm waiting for that day. Like, hey, aren't you Willie Nelson? Like, me not the Willie Nelson? Like, yeah. But that day is probably never going to come.
Who knows? Another couple thousand episodes, maybe someone in your neighborhood will recognize you.
Oh wait, this is episode 292, right?
392.
392. We're almost at 400. Holy sh! I think didn't I join in like 170 something, 172? I think.
I would have to go back and look. I don't honestly remember.
I mean, Jesus, I've been on more episodes than not. That's weird to think. Holy, it's been over 5 years. No, wait. It's been It's been over 4 years. That's what it's just a little.
The show's 8-year anniversary is in April, if I recall correctly. That's when the 8-year mark is.
Oh yeah, so I've been on more than not. Look at you. You've been stuck with me for too long, huh?
And now's when I announce we're shutting down the channel.
You've been having a year for a little too long,
Guys. It's been great, but we're shutting it down, and we'll see you later.
It wouldn't be the first thing.
See.
I shut down.
ATGN 176 Willie Nelson guest.
Really, I thought it was 172.
177 Willie Nonaki.
No, we're shutting it down. We're
I
shutting
think the
it
first
down.
episode was called The Long Willie or The Extended Willie because you guys like to make puns about my name, which I can't blame you.
You like it when puns are made about your
Yeah.
name in the
But
title.
I'm just saying. I'm just
don't
saying.
make
In
them
my
up.
notes, that's the first time your name showed up in my notes. That doesn't mean necessarily that was the first.
I think it's 172 was the Long Willie or The Extended Willie because I think the next episode was called The Other, whatever the other one was.
At 172, I wrote missed notes, so I didn't write my notes down that day. So
Well, I mean, you write notes.
yeah, I mean, it's just one line, but literally, I have one line for every podcast we've done since I've been on.
I mean, this is just also.
I have little notebooks too. Like this is 124 through 288. All of my edit points and things to remember from a specific show.
One
Like,
time
for
I
instance,
took
I
notes.
open up this page randomly and I have written for some reason "Pimp Daddy Willie." I don't know why.
Because that
I mean,
was
I
the
could tell a
episode title you
story.
were thinking of that
I mean,
day.
that does remind me of a story that we can do next week. The opening of next week, we have a little call for you for next week. A little tease for you. Listen to the story of Pimp Daddy Willie.
That was
Well,
somewhere around episode 231 or 232 that came up because the next
Yeah.
page has
Don't-
notes for 232.
I don't know why.
All these pages are nothing but ATGN, starting with ATGN 125.
That's like 4 or 5 pages, man. Is it
Yeah,
just like
front and back.
titles? Oh, okay. It's just episode titles, like in-depth notes.
No,
They're
it's
just-
literally just the number and what I talked about and what I was into.
Okay, I gotcha. Yeah, but here's a tease for you next week in the opening of the show. Pimp Daddy Willie. Why'd you make that? Do you remember why you did that title? Because I don't remember anything
I don't
about
even know if that was the title. I just literally wrote it on a line of its own in this notebook. It said "Pimp Daddy Willie." Oh, ATGN 200, the final Tim Tom. I don't think it was actually the final Tim Tom.
Oh, I
The
missed
final
Tim
Tim Tom.
Tom.
I
I
missed
wonder what
Tim
that
Tom's
motherfucker's
story.
doing now. Hopefully getting his
He's
face
probably
punched
in
in.
jail.
Jesus, he's only like 12 or 13 now, isn't he?
Okay, so he's probably in
Yeah.
juvie.
He's probably in jail.
Juvie Tim Tom. But yeah, no, but I'd be like the worst pimp ever, man. I mean, Hank Hill was probably a better pimp than I was.
And he sells
Well-
propane and propane accessories.
God, what was the name of the pimp that came to him? It was voiced by Snoop Dogg. I remember that. Because all I can think of is from the Boondock show. It was like, I'm a pimp named Slickback. All right, Mr. Slickback. No, it's a pimp named Slickback. You got to say the whole thing like a Tribe Called Quest.
All right, so the title of that episode was "Ho Yeah," the episode you're thinking of for King of the Hill.
Oh,
I'm trying to
yeah.
go through and see what it was.
I remember Snoop Dogg voiced the pimp. I do remember that. Because Hank Hill was actually took in like a girl who was a prostitute, and he didn't know it.
Yeah,
Just like trying to give her help.
after
That's
a
all he was trying to
violent
do.
pimp shows up looking for Hank and Peggy unknowingly board a prostitute. They then discover Hank has been unwittingly pimping her around town. And the pimp's name was Alabaster Jones.
Yo, that's such a badass
Alabaster
name.
Joe.
Alabaster Jones here. This is the voice I'm going to give Alabaster Jones. That's nothing like Snoop Dogg, but you know, I think I would be a better voice actor than Snoop Dogg.
Okay, so
Maybe not Snoop Lion.
here
But
was
Snoop Dogg.
one of the great quotes from that, and we'll move on. Hank, from now on, the only woman I'm pimping is Sweet Lady Propane, and I'm tricking her out all over this town.
Yeah, he is.
King of the Hill is such an underrated show. I love it.
Well, I mean, I don't know if you can share this quickly or not, Chris. Oh no, I don't think I can go to it quickly. That's the problem. I did make a meme I guess that's the best term for it. I just made an image together. Let me see if I can get to it right quick and send it to you. I call it Captain Propane. Continue on without me for a little bit while I try and look for it.
I'm just reading quotes from this episode. Hank being chased by a pimp. Hold on, I got a plan. Stops the car at a green light. Waits until it turns yellow and guns it. Ha ha ha, I got him right where I want. Pimp runs the red light. What? He ran a red light. You can't do that.
Oh, that also reminds me of a Simpsons joke that I always go back to. Like, whenever ever like a yellow light turns on me a little too quickly, I'm unsure. Like, I think of Homer Simpson where he just covers his eyes. Like, if I don't see it, it's not illegal.
Yeah, I like this. Hank, don't. Alabaster's a little guy, but he'll mess you up. No offense, but he's from Oklahoma.
Oklahoma, where the blah 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 blah. I don't know that song. Just know Oklahoma.
Oh man, that was
so.
amazing.
How do you like? So I don't know how you can. If you can, you can't, that's no problem. The little meme. I think you would enjoy it.
I'm working on it, Willie. It's going.
You see it. Bachman still has not seen it.
I saw it.
Oh, you see, I showed it to you a long time ago. I was proud of that meme. I did. I think I did the coloring really well. I mean, I can only do so much with Hank Hill's pixelation of his head because of the picture I took. I mean, you try and look up for high quality images of Hank Hill's head.
I don't think you're supposed to even put those words together.
High quality Hank Hill. More alliteration for you.
Say that 3 times fast.
What is it? What did I say? High quality Hank Hill?
High quality Hank Hill.
High quality Hank Hill. High quality Hank Hill. High quality Hank Hill. It's not that hard. Hard Hank Hill. Hard Daddy Hank Hill. That should be his pimp name. Oh, there it goes.
There it is.
Yeah.
Captain Propane.
For those
Captain
that are watching
Propane,
the live
Propane,
stream,
that's-
it's Captain Propane.
And since we're also tangentially associated with this, I would also highly recommend the live action skit of Captain Planet, played by Don Cheadle.
That's true.
There you go.
Highly
War
recommend.
Machine.
We're just
Apparently,
gonna
there's
put,
multiple ones. There's part 2s and part 3s to it. Like sushis and sashimis.
Oh, sushis
there
and
you go.
sashimi.
We
Yeah.
got Captain Propane with us the rest of the show.
Ooh, you see, I like how the ads
Nice.
are going pretty in the green hair. Hey, I do a couple of layers with that because I did that on my phone. All right.
Nice.
All the stuff I do all the like Photoshop stuff is like it's just a little app on my phone. Not even a Photoshop app. It's just called Superimpose. Highly recommended. I'll give it a shout out since I use it. It is a paid app though, which I didn't mind
Nice.
paying for. I use it so much. You see my my favorite one's the Who Framed Roger Rabbit, where I planted my face with this good rabbit.
Well,
Willie does dirty things with his phone.
Had plenty money, 1922.
that being said, it is time for us to start wrapping things up. So before we shut this down fully,
walk all over you.
we do a little segment called What I'm Into. It's our chance to share with you guys who are watching live or listening at a later date just what kind of geeky and or nerdy things we've been getting into so that maybe, just maybe, you'll want to check them out yourselves. I will say right now, we are at the almost 90-minute mark, so we're going to have to power through it to make it kind of quick, guys.
Why don't you do right?
So Will,
I think that song's under fair use. I think it's under, I think not fair use. I think it's under public domain because they talk about 1922, and that's pretty damn old.
Really, why don't you lead us off?
Oh, I'm leading us off. Watch Southland Tales. Highly recommend it just for the ensemble cast. And it is a movie you kind of have. It is. There's a lot of metaphoring going on, biblical metaphoring and just other stuff. It is. I mean, it is well worth the watch, but it's more well worth it for the ensemble cast. You got people from Mad TV. You got people from Saturday Night Live. You got The Rock in there, Sean William Scott, Wallace Shawn, Curtis Armstrong, Mandy Moore. Like, what is going on here? Like Rock's in a love triangle with Sarah Michelle Gellar and Mandy Moore. Do I need to say more? Do I have to say more?
I see what you did there.
They have a song playing in it called "Teen Horniness Is Not a Crime." And Sarah Michelle Gellar is the lead singer of it.
That's funny.
This is how the world ends. Not with a whimper, but with a bang. No one rocks a dick like Kristen now. Yeah, I thought that's the announcer voice at the end. Ha ha. I know I'm a terrible voice actor. What can I say? But other than that, Dead by Daylight. I did get Wheel of Fortune for the PS4, even though it's overpriced at $20. But I saw the Game Grumps playing it, and it made me want to play it. Not gonna lie. I mean, Wheel of Fortune is especially fun to play with multiple people, and I've also been playing Jackbox games with people showing some people have never heard of it, and they've been loving it. Yeah, who doesn't like some Jackbox games? I wish I could still stream it. I'd probably be making that Twitch streamer money if I kept up with it, if I could have kept up with it, because people like it when they can join in and play along.
Yep.
You know,
That's true.
I mean, and it worked. I think the most people I ever had at one time was all 8 people were playing a game, and then I had 12 people in the audience. That's a
Nice.
lot of people in the audience. I was thinking just playing, and now with the new games, like the audience can actually win and affect the game. Like they're like they're collectively like another player. That's pretty amazing. So I'm a little sad that I can't stream it with my internet with that 1.5 upload speed.
That's
Yeah, that
that's
part
a lot of
sucks.
upload speed you got there. How do you?
Yeah, I think the last time I tried it here was like it just didn't even show it was streaming. It said I was streaming, but people were trying to look it up and they couldn't. I got a little pissed at them because I was staying at my mom's house sitting for a little bit and I had my PS4 and they wouldn't. I was like, hey, let's say that here's an idea to stream this where everyone can play. And they were like, no. When they finally said yes, I was over at my place. All right, let me try, and it just wouldn't work.
That's a bummer.
Yeah. Other than that, I saw Sonic the Hedgehog. Which was pretty damn good. Just go into it thinking it's like a fun little flick. It's probably the best video game movie out there. That I'm trying to think of other video game movies other than Super Mario Brothers. I'm getting a blockage with that. Can you guys think? Oh, definitely better than Doom with The Rock.
How about Detective Pikachu?
Oof. I want to say it's on par with it. I'm gonna say it's on par. I want to say Detective Pikachu had a little bit better like storytelling, but just and just amount of fun and just because the most biggest part of Detective Pikachu is just the visuals, like how they rendered the fur and everything, like how they took the chances with it. I like how they did that where it looked different, like the scales on Charizard and all that, and like you saw the fur on Pikachu. I thought that was pretty good. Although I will say at some parts it looked like they didn't do a good job when they had like too much in the daylight sunlight on, like when Mewtwo's getting like when he was like knocked out and getting taken away, like that looked like N64 graphics a little bit. I was
Chat
like,
room
oh.
asks, how does it compare to Rampage?
Oh God, Rampage. You know what? Rampage is all right. It's borderline good, but I wouldn't go further than that myself. Just as an entertaining movie, it's all right. You know, I mean, you got your Rock in there, so I mean, can't be all that bad. I mean, if we want to go back, we're going back to Street Fighter. I mean, Street Fighter, I will give it the one line. Bachman, say that one line.
It was a Tuesday.
No. Say the whole damn thing, Bachman. God damn it. This is why I don't ever hand this shit to you.
You said the one line. I gave you the line.
The whole line.
You mean the speech, the paragraph. That's not a line.
It's a fucking line. He's like, that day was the worst day of your life. Your father was murdered. Your country was taken over. But to me, it was just a Tuesday. I paraphrase because I don't remember exactly the line. Bachman did it better, but he wanted to be a little bitch boy about it.
So, Willie, how about the Double Dragon movie?
Double Dragon.
Oh
yeah.
my God! Do I remember a Bobo in it when he turned monstrous? Do you not remember who else was in it?
God.
The T-1000 was in that too. Do you not remember that? What the fuck's his name? John
Robert
something.
Patrick?
Robert Who
Pattinson.
cares about that? It had Alyssa Milano in it.
Oh, don't forget that one scene when they start climbing in that little pipe and they start fighting like, no, me first, because they're trying to follow Melissa. And also, on another tangent, let's not forget about the Milano in Guardians of the Galaxy, which is named after Melissa Milano because he had a crush on her.
Damn right.
So yeah, another video game movie, Mario Brothers movie. Was that the first video game movie? Let's not go with what was it? Pixelated Pixels. That movie was.
That's a movie about video games. It's not a video game movie.
Yeah, I know. I'll give you that. But I mean, it wasn't too bad. Kevin James was believable as the president.
It had some funny stuff in it.
I'd vote for that president. He seemed like an all right guy.
Oh, the bar has been lowered, so yeah, he could do it.
Yeah, and don't forget, Willie, the Milano.
Hold on a second.
The Milano is no longer the Milano. It's the Benatar now. Don't forget.
Well, I mean, I like the better ones, the Milano. I mean, I mean, as bad as Trump is, I mean, that bar was lowered a lot before him. I mean, do you really want to go to Nixon here?
Your president is.
I mean, hell, let's go a little political. Who was just put in prison for 3 years? Was it Roger Stone?
No
who's
politics. No politics.
advisor to
No
Trump, who was also
politics.
advisor to Nixon?
No politics.
You make up your own shit on that. That's a little iffy.
No.
I said what I
politics.
said. I said what I said, not knowing a whole lot of bullshit. I don't know. I'm talking out my ass.
You can just put a period after the words not knowing a whole lot. Just not knowing a whole lot, period.
I'm just saying things were lowered a lot before him. That's all I'm saying.
Okay.
He matches it. I'm not going to say there. I'll stick with you there. How's that?
I don't want to get into politics on this show because nothing good will come of it.
All right, then let's talk about him as a person, then, not anything politically. How's that?
Don't you understand that will then get turned into a political argument by other people that listen to this?
I always say, like, politically, I don't know enough to really hate Trump politically. But I mean, as a person, the stuff he's done and said, I can definitely hate him as a person. The grab him by the pussy thing, really? Come on now, man. Who can agree with that? I mean, I know who can agree with that. Some of them are neighbors. You know where I live. I live in a red state.
I too live
still
in
need
a
to see
very
Red
red
State.
state.
Going back to Kevin Smith, I need to see Red State. I have not seen it yet.
Well,
Yeah,
Is
you
it still on
do.
Netflix? I know it was on Netflix for the longest time, and I
know.
just didn't watch it like a dumbass.
Now that we have accidentally gone down the political path and veered our way back out of it, I'll go next with what I've been getting into, which
I
is
said what I said.
not a ton
Yeah.
because life's gotten in the way. I did play a little bit of Anthem, and I saw today that Better Call Saul comes back tonight, so I know what I'll be watching this evening. It's the return of Better Call Saul. Oh, and Last Week's Night with John Oliver came back last week, so I got to watch that, and that was delightful.
I was wondering, because that usually comes up, because they always put stuff up on YouTube.
They do.
And like they always like a shortened version of the episode or something, I guess. And I just saw it finally. It started popping up back on my YouTube because I watch every now and then. And
They took like a 2-month off break, so
Okay.
that was their first episode.
that explains that. 'Cause I wonder why that left my recommendations for a while. Or I didn't notice it till it showed back. I was like, oh yeah, that hasn't been up there for a while.
because they were literally making no new content.
So, but yeah, how's HBO okay with that? Where they just put up the episode the next day or
Well,
right
they don't
after?
put all of
it's
it
in-
up, but I think they realized that
At least 15 to 20 minutes.
Yes,
of
John
it.
Oliver's monologues turn into pretty much this big cultural phenomenon that everyone's talking about, so they can afford to take the bit of the hit there for all the positive PR they get of everyone retweeting,
Yeah.
sharing, and talking about what John Oliver was discussing on Last Week Tonight the previous day.
That's fair. Yeah, I can see that. I don't think I ever watched it live. Maybe at a friend's
And
place. They said,
I'm sure they
watch it.
monetize it on YouTube, so if you don't have YouTube Premium or Red or whatever the hell it's called now, you get served some kind of HBO ad, I would imagine, that they're then making money off of.
Man, I wish I
Which
could make
makes
some
sense.
YouTube money. I thought I had some videos that made a lot more views that was worth getting money. Nope, not enough to make money. Apparently 29,000 views for one video, and then it did drop off a lot after that. But that's not worth any money to YouTube, apparently.
YouTube
29
don't give a crap.
I mean, although the videos were at most 2 minutes long, so I guess it's about time watched in total, I guess. I did look that up. You have to have like over 400 hours viewed, I think, and then a certain number of views after that. I don't know if
Yeah,
subscribers
they got
come
all sorts-
into it.
They get all sorts of weird minimal like bars you have to hit, just like Twitch.
Although, I mean, you also hear YouTube fucks up a whole lot with their creators. Do we want to go into adpocalypse?
No, let's not go into that right now. It's
Next
been-
week, Adpocalypse editorial from Willie.
Oh, good lord. There are plenty of other people that have covered it far better than we ever would. But if you really want to, we can do Adpocalypse next week with Willie.
What was that about game journalists? The morals? No.
It's about ethics in game journalism.
ethics, yeah,
About
that's
ethics
the
in
word I was
game
thinking.
journalism
I was just bringing it
Yeah.
back from that.
Yeah.
and ads in YouTube.
That's what I've been getting into. Bachman, wrap things up for us. What are you getting into?
Watching Dead by Daylight videos, playing Dead by Daylight, some Apex, a little bit of Anthem. I downloaded the free games this month are the entire BioShock collection. So at some point I'm going to start that.
Nice.
I did get the download done, so I have 1, 2, and Infinite sitting on my PS Pro waiting to play.
What was
So
the other
I'm-
one?
Infinite.
No. The BioShock collection was one of them because even though it's two different, there was another game.
It came as 2 of them. It was BioShock 1 and 2, or 1 download, and BioShock Infinite was a 3rd download. And then The other game was there was two other games. It was Sims 3.
One was Sims 4. That's what it was.
Sims 4. Yeah,
and then a VR
Sims,
game.
and then a VR game. Yeah. So yeah,
although I've heard good things about the VR game.
It was a bunch of games this month. So yeah, if you got PlayStation Network Plus, go grab those and just put them in your library. You don't have to download them, but add them to your library, and you can play BioShock whenever you want going forward. So pretty cool deal.
I'll say about that VR game right quick is like Rainbow Six Siege or somewhere, like you're busting a house. It's like you go into a building, you have the objectives to do, and like you're going against another team. It's like that, and that seems really cool with VR.
But then, importantly, I backed 2 Kickstarters this week. Both of them are comic books done by Black creators, and I love both of these books. Ray Anthony Height, who has worked for Marvel and DC. Yep, very racist. He is back with the next comic for Midnight Tiger number 3, End of the Beginning, part 1 and 2 for the final 2 issues of the book. It's a fantastic story. It falls right in line with like the creation of the original Peter Parker. Gavin is the main character, who's the Midnight Tiger. Super cool character. Ray Anthony Height created these awesome characters, the good guys, the bad guys. The whole storyline setup's awesome. Like if you dig Static, old school Spider-Man, New Warriors type stuff, anything like that, Teen Titans, like it's a great book. That one's already got 120 backers with 16 days to go. They've just passed $3,200 of their $3,000 goal, so it's already funded, which is awesome. And there's some really cool add-ons for it. A bunch of original arts available, including original art for pages that Ray Anthony Height did for Moon Girl and Devil Dinosaur when he was working at Marvel. For Superb when he was working at Catalyst Prime, the Ultra Forge. The Spider-Man page, I believe, is already gone, but there's still some of the original Midnight Tiger art pages are available. So I think he did the first 5 pages of this issue digitally, and then like pages 16 through 20 are going to be available for people that back it. So some of those are still available. Awesome book. I've got every Midnight Tiger thing that Ray Anthony Height has done. I've tried to back find any book that he's working on with Marvel and DC. He's a great artist, really cool guy, really fun to follow online, really sweet dude. And then the heart and soul of comics himself, Sean Pryor, one of the greatest comic creators I've ever met, one of the nicest people I've ever dealt with, has a new book out called Ignition Number 1, a racing, thrilling comic with a twist. With her life in shambles, race car driver Jamel Reed accepts the job of a lifetime that leads to a world of mystery, action, and more. So Sean Pryor's doing another action book. The artwork on it looks super cool. It's about a race car driver. It's Kelly Guillory, Sean Pryor, Jenna Lynn Wright, and Jay Reed. Go check it out. They're about $1,300 in. They've only got 57 backers so far. It just started. There's 32 days to go, so they're still working up to getting their goal. They're asking for $5,500, so not a huge project, but definitely go show it some love. It's an awesome comic. I've backed every project that Sean Pryor has done. I have received every single book he has ever put on Kickstarter. This man has fulfilled every pledge. There's never been a single customer out there anywhere who's missing a bookmark, a sticker, a T-shirt, a comic, a hat, whatever it is. If you back a Sean Pryor project, you are guaranteed to get your stuff as long as it hits the funding goal. This guy has done, I think this is his 6th one that he's created. I think like the 10th one he's been a part of. Sean makes sure everybody gets their stuff. So it's guaranteed. If you back a Sean Pryor book, you're going to get it. You're going to love it. He's done everything from Kentucky Kaiju to Cash and Carry, a kid's book, all sorts of stuff. It's beautiful. Go check him out. Yeah, it's called Ignition. And then the other one is Midnight Tiger. So yeah, look up either one on Kickstarter. I guarantee both will be great books.
Nice.
That's cool.
That is cool.
Chris,
Yes,
why are you not wearing the hood anymore?
Because it's really hot in my basement, I realized, because the space heater's finally kicked off.
You know what?
Want me to put the hood back on? Here.
Yeah,
Willie,
I do kind of want to.
Those of you guys who are listening on audio.
Here, let me reach down and put it on you.
Why does it need a hood?
I mean, do you really? He's in West Virginia. Do you really want me to get into that?
Uh-oh. Oh, and one other thing, I'm looking forward to Thursday, the return of Altered Carbon, because I hadn't seen the trailer yet. I hadn't looked it up.
Do you mean Altered Carbon?
Altered Carbon, that's what I said.
I thought you said Ultra.
No, Altered Carbon.
Sounds like a character from My Hero Academia.
Takeshi Kovacs, the awesome Korean Russian, who last season was played by Joel Kinnaman, this season will be played by Anthony Mackie.
Oh,
so he went from being like a 6'7" white dude, so now he's Falcon.
Do you remember his
in a world where human bodies are just sleeves, the fact that Takeshi Kovacs could just be anybody, it's an awesome way of playing with casting, because every season he can be in a new body and they just have to act like the character. The look doesn't really matter in a world where your soul and identity and brain are all kept in a disc that just gets popped in the back of a neck, and they call bodies sleeves. Bodies don't matter anymore in this world. So I'm excited. It's coming out this Thursday is season 2 of Altered Carbon. The first season was fantastic.
Have you guys seen the episode of Black Mirror with Anthony Mackie?
No.
Yeah, the bloody things or whatever it is.
There's someone where someone did like a little joke about it. It's like, yeah, Black Mirror started with like the evils of social media that can turn into, and now it's, hey, yo, what if you could suck your homeboy's dick?
It was a hell of an episode, the one he did.
Oh, it was very, very well done episode. I liked how I'm turning this into Brady Bunch thing over here. Hey, Bachman, how's it going? Chris, you doing good down there?
It's creepy. I don't like it.
I know you're the power bot.
I don't want to look to my left and see Willie. I'm much happier seeing my Keurig.
I don't like looking up to see you guys.
My Funko Pops.
Oh,
yeah, it is weird because you're on the bottom. You're down there. Why are you down there?
Yeah, I told you he's the power bottom. But no, Chris, don't worry. When I pick you up for a big old Willie bear hug, you look down upon me.
Oh.
You look down at me with those anime-ish eyes. You get those wide anime eyes, and they're sparkling. Like,
oh, he called you a power bottom. Wow.
And speaking of My Hero Academia, you even call me All Might. All Might from My Hero Academia. That's how
this shit has gone off the rails.
I watched it subtitled, so it's always All Might.
Just a little off the rails. A friendly reminder, though, if you enjoy our going off the rails each week, we do this live every week, Sunday, 11 a.m. Eastern, 10 a.m. Central, over on Geeks.live. That is the official streaming home of the Gonna Geek Network. We also broadcast out on Twitch, Mixer, Periscope, and I think there's another one I'm forgetting. We stream all over the place, but if you go to Geeks.live, it's the easiest way to find us.
I'm sorry. Our show's only on the rails when it's off the rails.
Wait,
to change a line.
Are we actually on Periscope?
Drift.
Yeah.
Wait, we're on Periscope?
We're on Periscope.
You do have everything set up.
I haven't heard about Periscope. I haven't heard anything about Periscope in a long time. Is that even still running?
Yeah, Twitter owns it.
Apparently, yeah. Our Periscope's running, so that's all that matters. We're out there, man. We're out there.
I remember hearing about Periscope, never downloaded or anything.
Look, I've got us on all those channels, and if I wanted to pay more, I could have us on. Well, no, I could do these for free. We could also do LinkedIn. I could stream on there, but I'm not putting this on my LinkedIn.
LinkedIn.
Daily Motion.
Streaming Daily Motion, that makes sense.
VK Live, Kakayo TV, Naver TV, Nemo TV, V Live.
Did you say Nobber TV? Because that'd be funny.
Navver.
Nobber. All right, Nobber TV.
Hoya.com, Zanky.tv, Billy.
We're going to be on a porn. Can we stream on Pornhub?
I don't have I'm not set up to do that. We could also be on Africa TV if we wanted.
Hold on a second. I'm being serious here. Could we stream on Pornhub?
I don't have it configured through Restream to be able
Could we be the first official podcast of Pornhub that has nothing to do with porn?
Theoretically, yes.
I know we're stepping on Beef's toes here. Is that still going? Is that podcast still going?
Yes, it is. In theory, I could stream on Pornhub, assuming they did have an RMTP server that you could live stream to. Now, that being said, I don't pay for the tier of Restream.io that allows me to stream to custom RMTP servers. So I would have to pay money per month to do that.
Do you know how much it is?
$6, $7, I think.
I'll throw that in for that, buddy.
Willie's going to pay for it.
I'll even download Venmo or something, even though I don't even use those.
Why would you? Just send me money.
Hey, Power Bottom, I'll send you that money, bitch. I'm sorry, I'm not. There you are. Oh, a little bit there. Oh, you got to get this just right. There you are, buddy.
Chris,
so
put finger in Willie.
Oh no, you got to use your thumb. Use your thumb, man. I told you, man, earlier. Yeah, here. Let me move between the cushions so you can get in there nice and ooh.
Oh, this
now, you feel that little ball? That's the process. I need you to push in on it.
It's wrong. It's so wrong.
On that note, we are going to shut this thing down. Please do come and see us next week as we have more ridiculous shenanigans. But before we shut this stream down, do you guys have any final thoughts for the folks that are watching us live?
I mean,
do this again?
who's the more is being more gay? I'm just having a finger up my ass. Chris is the one sticking a finger up someone's ass.
No, the problem is if the only thing that makes it gay is if one of you likes it.
Are we playing gay chicken right now?
My
I'm
prostate's
confused.
getting pushed in, man. I can't help if I'm feeling pleasure or not.
Yeah, Sailor Poland's right. We're not getting monetized on YouTube.
Pleasure, but
Never, never.
Never.
Yeah, yeah.
Thanks, everyone. We'll see you all next week. Bye, guys.
Bye.
Thanks for
Yeah.
listening to this brand new episode of the All Things Good and Nerdy podcast. Don't forget, we'll be back next Sunday live at 11 a.m. Eastern, 10 a.m. Central, over at live.atgnpodcast.com, channel 3 of the Alpha Geek Radio app, and over at our network home at gonnageek.com/live. If you have any feedback for the show, please contact us atgnpodcast@gonnageek.com, on our hotline number at 304-806-ATGN, or even better, go to Twitter and send us a message at ATGN Podcast. The music you've heard in this show is produced by Kevin MacLeod and can be found at incompetech.com.